Hello world, welcome back to the Razor RC. Super excited to bring a new vehicle to the channel from kind of a new brand as well. This is made by LRP. That's a company out there in Germany, one of the largest companies in Germany actually, more of a distributor I think. They also make some electronics like batteries, ESCs, motors. They also make nitro engines as well. Super exciting. I have not had an LRP product in a really long time. I have had ESCs and stuff in the past, but they just came out with this, the S8 Rebel BX3, a 1-scale nitro 4-wheel drive, ready to run race buggy. Yes, people are still making new and improved race buggies, nitros out there. So yeah, super excited about this. They did have a BX2 and a BX like years ago, a long time ago, but they came out with the latest update, just came out like yesterday or something. It is sold by A-Main, so I'll have a link in the description below where you can pick one of these up. But yeah, let's take a look at this brand new 8-scale nitro buggy. I think it sells for $420 or $430 here in the US, and it is a ready to run. So a bunch of information here. There is the LRP ZR21 engine. LRP is pretty well respected within the nitro engine class. A lot of them I think are like rebranded, I don't know, OS engine type based or SH based engines, so I'm not sure they actually make them, but they do make a lot of nitro vehicles or engines. Here's the radio, what they call 19.5 millimeter shocks, all aluminum, but I don't think they're 19.5 bore, maybe 16 millimeter, we'll see. Steel 4-gear differentials all throughout, including I think a steel spur gear. We'll check that out. 15 kilogram servos, nice polished pipe, 125 cc fuel tank, vented dual disc brakes, full ball bearings without, aluminum spindles, and all kinds of good stuff. Here are the tires and what the vehicle looks like. So I have not taken a look at this, but let's take a look inside the box and see what you get. Okay, we got everything out of the box, and let's take a look at what we get. So here is the radio transmitter, the Antex 2.4 gigahertz radio. Feels pretty basic, of course. Does have throttle trim, which is nice. Does have throttle dual rates, steering dual rates, and then steering and throttle reversing. No endpoint adjustment, I don't think. I don't see anything on here, so I'm not sure I will use this in the long run, but it does come with a 2.4 gigahertz radio. Here's the air filter, kind of an unusual rib style design. Some zip ties. I think it's dual stage as well. It looks like it comes unoiled, but they do provide air filter oil, of course. Looks like you get a battery pack here, so you will take 4 AA's to power your receivers. I don't know what this tool is. This is kind of interesting looking, some sort of plunger or something like that. Antenna tube, some extra servo horns, as well as it looks like maybe a bumper. Not sure what that is. A couple body clips, and then here is the manual. So all black and white. A little bit of color here for some warnings and stuff. Explain a lot of stuff in German. Some nitro starter kit box that you'll probably want to pick up if you don't already have a glow plug, and fuel tank and all that kind of stuff. Fuel bottle, basic information, also stuff in French and Spanish, so Italian as well. So I think it's, what is that, 5 different languages. So yes, LRP is a German company out there in Europe, pretty big out there, not so big in the US. Transmission feels pretty smooth, drivetrain feels nice and smooth. I do like the body, the red, white, and black, of course. Those are my race colors. Looks like you even got a little QR code, so if you want to look something up while your car is running, you don't even have to take off the body. So yeah, pretty nice looking body. Feels like probably PVC. That would be my guess, but totally fine. Fairly low wing, pretty flat. Not a whole ton of like kick up or anything. I think it is adjustable as well. There are 3 different positions. Looks like pretty much Phillips head screws throughout, so there are a few hex head screws, but most of it is going to be Phillips head screws. There's the LRP ZR21 Sport engine. Of course, completely race legal, the race legal tank. Plastic upper deck here, so the bottom is like a nice black anodized aluminum. I think it's 4 millimeter chassis. It looks pretty nice. Looks like I'm maybe seeping a little diff oil there. So 3 fluid filled diffs. There are the servos. What is that? I can't read just a 15 kilogram waterproof Antex servos on the throttle, and the 3 kilogram servo on the throttle side, 15 on the steering. So much more budget. Looks a little bit like a I don't know, maybe like an old Spectrum server or something like that. So here are the electronics. Looks like that would be probably the receiver or battery box. We can take a look inside what's there. That is the receiver tray, and then over here we must have the battery tray. 2-plug connector. A lot of people say this kind of looks like an old OFNA or Hobao Hyper 7. I'm not sure about that. There are some similarities, but you know, the electronics and stuff all look completely different. These chassis braces, I'm not familiar with any other vehicles, so maybe, you know, they took inspiration from some old OFNAs or Hobaos, but I don't think they are the same. Here are the shocks. They look like 16mm bore shocks to me. I don't think they're anything unusual. So adjustable servo savers, nice little mount for your timing device, your lap timer. What else is there to say? Nice metal shock standoffs, pull start, of course. Kind of a polished pipe, not really labeled with anything. So maybe a generic pipe. Looks like a 2-needle carburetor. Yeah, maybe you want to open up the idle screw a little bit there on the box. Of course, adjustable brakes, front and rear, adjustable carb linkage there. Looks like my diff is pretty leaky there because a lot of oil there on the clutch bell. But yeah, the engine wise, I'm not sure who makes this. I would guess either SH or Force. They make most of the radio runs, but I can't recognize that straight off the back. Nice, you know, machined cooling head as well. Sort of that rough matte gray finish with the LRP logo. Clear fuel tubing throughout, which is nice. Arms look reasonably, yeah, pretty beefy. A couple different mounts on the arms, couple different mounts on the shock tower. No sway bars. Looks like front and rear. Drive axles. I believe it's CVAs in the front and dog bones in the rear. That's what it looks like. Pretty standard. Does have adjustable droop screws. And then on the back, yeah, pretty much all Phillips head screws. You do have a few of the hex hardware on the engine mount, and I do like how it's recessed. That is an improvement of some of the other vehicles like my Kyoshos and stuff. The screws stick out, tend to get pretty marred up, but yeah, pretty standard, like 4mm screws throughout. 3mm shocks feel, wow, actually the suspension feels perfect. Wow, dialed right out of the box. A little bit stiffer on the right side for some reason, not sure about that. But yeah, they did set the screws pretty nicely. Ride height looks perfect. So yeah, this seems like a pretty decent vehicle. Certainly it is in the entry-level 1/8 scale Nitro Buggy class. I also have a Kyosho Inferno Neo 3.0, which I would say is a major competitor to this. I also have the HPI Trophy 3.5, which again is about this price range, and also an entry-level vehicle. But this is much more modern. This has just been out for, you know, a couple of weeks, and they did have a BX2 and BX1, or BX, I guess you would call it, years ago, like a decade ago, like 10, 11, 12 years ago. They had those. Finally released an update, so it's pretty cool to see that they do have something new, something to help you kind of get into Nitro. If you're not familiar with Nitro, maybe this is a good start. So yeah, let's fire this thing up and see how it gets started. Okay, so I ran a couple tanks through my S8 Rebel BX3. Some thoughts about firing this thing up. Definitely went through the normal process, heating up the engine a bit, priming the tank, of course, about 10 pulls on the pull starter. No leaks or anything, so it primed super nice. Running Bones Brew 20% with the 12% oil. I like to use this for break-in. And it fired right up. Pretty much I did 10 pulls and then added a little throttle trim. I would go up maybe like 1 or 2 o'clock on the trim knob, and then it just fired right up. So super easy. Actually, the engine feels really nice. It tunes really easily. I mean, all the needles were on point. Really didn't have to mess with it. I did add a half turn on the high-speed needle, a little bit richer, just to make sure I had plenty of lubrication and stuff, but no issues whatsoever. Engine seems really good. This radio also actually isn't as bad as I thought. It's actually a halfway decent radio, so I was pleasantly surprised at how good this radio is. That was pretty nice. But yeah, the buggy drove totally fine. I did check out the center diff as well. It was full of grease, so I cleaned all that out and added about 10K diff oil just to refill it because, yeah, it didn't really have any oil in it. Did not check the front and rear diffs, but one thing I did notice is that the hinge pin braces are plastic throughout. So I think the front hinge pin brace is aluminum, but the other three are plastic. So something I'll definitely want to check out is maybe looking into some aluminum upgrades. No other issues at all. I did set my trims, did set my, dual rates and stuff to make sure all the servos are set correctly. I do have a video on how to do that. But other than that, yeah, it worked really well and was pleasantly surprised with this vehicle. The, shocks, everything seemed pretty nice. Definitely has some pros and cons, and we'll get more into that after I get a chance to run this some more. But that was break-in, and next thing to do is just finish up the break-in process and get the first run in. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe buttons. Look for more videos soon. Thanks for watching.